evening. We're having a little Q&A tonight. We've got our camp set up here, and I've had a lot of questions about a couple things. One is our shoes. People want to know what we're wearing for shoes, how many shoes we're wearing out. So I'm going to start. I'm going to show you what I'm wearing. I just got a pair. Sherry and I both got new shoes yesterday. These are Hoka Speedgoat 4 actually. And so what makes this an unusual shoe? Well, it's a trail runner. They're lightweight, and you know, for cutting wood or something like that, they'd not be very practical, but they're trail runners, so they're lightweight. The reason I got these is because they have a lot of cushion on the bottom. My feet get really sore from all the rocks that they pound up and down on. So they're not particularly wide here. This is a size 12. I usually wear a size 11. And what happens is your feet get swollen from all the walking you do, and particularly on rough terrain, and they get wide. And they don't necessarily get long, but they get wide. So usually you buy your shoes a larger size, and then also a shoe with what they call a wide or a large foot box. This isn't particularly wide, but Sherry's shoe has a wider foot box. This is the Ultra Olympus 4, and they're kind of a girly shoe. They got some cool colors here, but if you look at this toe box up here, it's wider than a typical shoe. So this is pretty wide, and when you do a lot of walking, your foot swells up and it gets bigger. This has a lot of room, so you don't get blisters as bad. Another really cool thing, or a question that people have, is what are those socks that you guys wear? These things here. Now this is Sherry's Gator. These are called Gators. So this slips, you slip this over your ankle like you're putting on a sock, and this hooks on the front of your shoe, and there's a Velcro strip back here that hooks on the back. The purpose of a Gator is simply to keep dirt, stones, sticks, and leaves from going down inside of your shoe. Cool thing about the Ultra is they've got a little panel that folds down, and there's Velcro, and your Velcro on the back of these Gators are called Dirty Girl Gators, and that mates with that, and that holds it in place. And they also have a little loop on the front of the Ultras, and that little metal hook there hooks right in into that loop, just like like so. And then what that does is it holds it in place so that it's held down over the edge of your shoe, and that gives you the protection needed so their stones don't go down inside. I also got some new Gators. These are not socks, they're Gators, and they also have the hook on the front and a Velcro strip in the back. However, the Hoka didn't come with that neat feature like the Ultras, but the Gators come with a little strip of Velcro and adhesive, and we used a little super glue and attached that, so that keeps the stones and sticks from going inside. The other question people want to know is how many shoes have you gone through? So I started out with Merrell Moabs that got me 729 miles, and then I got a pair of Hokas, a little different style. The lugs, after 570 or 500 and some miles, the lugs started coming off, and I just got these. I'm on my third pair at 1,300 miles. Sherry had problems with her shoes right from the beginning that she started out with, and had to replace them with something with more cushion. She got, because we didn't have many options, she ended up getting a Keen boot, which there's nothing wrong with a boot necessarily. It's not made for through hiking, long distance backpacking. And the shoe was waterproof, that's all they had. And it was not a woman's shoe, it was a men's shoe. And they are made differently. You can't just get a different size and expect it to fit right. However, she wore those for a couple hundred miles, had a lot of blisters. So she then bought a pair of Ultras, but again, they didn't have them in a woman's size, so they gave her the equivalent in a men's. And oddly enough, regardless of what they tell you, it didn't fit the heel properly. It was too wide in the heel, so her heel slid around. She got blisters on her heel. So this is her fourth pair of shoes. She's got a pair, no, then she got a pair of Ultras for women. and those did very good. This pair here, now that she's got, she wore that pair out, and the pair she's wearing today that she started out with is a woman's shoe. It's a half a size smaller, and it fits her, she believes, better than anything she's tried yet. Shoes are very individual. You have to get what works for you. So that's a little bit of a gear change for us. Another gear change we made, we had fanny packs made by Z-Packs, and they were water repellent, not waterproof. When it would get real humid, which is often, they would get saturated with water and they just went dry. They didn't work well. We use them every day. We got some from, these here are made from Dyneema. We got them from Hyperlite. It's a much better product. It's wider, so my GoPro with a handle installed, which is what Sherry's holding right now, fits in here better. So it's got a zipper, a wide zipper here, and then there's a pouch on the inside, and then there's another zipper out here. So you have another pouch and then a adjustable belt that goes around your hip. And then one other big purchase, because when we started out, we both had 55-liter backpacks made by Z-Packs. Z-Packs, when you buy a backpack, when they give you a size, that is not the internal size. That is including your pouches on the sides and the back. So it's a little, not misleading, but maybe if you're not understanding how they size their packs, you may be disappointed. However, the problem was that Sherry was having a lot of problems with her knees and her feet, and what we had done to try to alleviate some of that was I started carrying more of the food and all of the extra water, and then my pack was no longer substantial or heavy enough, and the hip belt wore out. I was having other problems with the backpack, and so I got a new backpack, a 65-liter from Z-Packs again. It's also made from Dyneema, and it is waterproof. However, where they do the stitching, sometimes you can still get water in. However, we don't use a pack cover because it's adequate. So this pack has a better hip belt, which I had problems with the hip belt. It's got a preformed frame, or two stays on either side that are preformed, and this pack is working much better. So those are a few
extra cushion in your shoulder
of the changes. Oh yeah, and then I got extra cushion on the padding on the shoulders here. My pack weighs right now, I weighed it this morning for 4 days of food. We don't have dehydrated food, so yes, our packs are heavy. A lot of people purchase the Mountain House. That's great, but they're really expensive. We're still using the Norse Select and dried instant potatoes, and occasionally our daughter sends us dried pinto beans and hummus. And then also we have a friend who has given us some freeze-dried meals. So when she sends a resupply box or something, she'll throw those in also. But you have to recognize that you can't stock up on things. You don't want to carry more than about 4 days worth. I don't want to carry more than 4 days worth of food. My pack weighs 40 pounds this morning when I weighed it. That's with water, 4 days worth of food. And then Sherry's pack, we weighed hers as well, and hers weighed 25 pounds. So that's a little heavier than we want to be on both of them. However, we're okay with that. Starting out heavy, it's always like that. And then each day you eat. And the good thing about eating food is your pack gets lighter. So those are just some things people have asked about. I wanted to clarify some of that. And what we're eating, we have changed up a little bit of our diet. One of the things we're eating for breakfast, for the first 3 months we were eating grits. Every morning we would make grits, and because it has gotten pretty hot, and also the time that it takes, it's much quicker to eat a cold breakfast. So what we're eating currently is we're buying granola, and then adding to that granola a pack of instant carnation breakfast drink powder and instant coffee. And we found that we were buying the little packets, but it's very expensive. So we found that just buying a jar of instant coffee, and we put about half or 3/4 that jar in a Ziploc bag, and then we can spoon as much of that in our breakfast as we want. So we have coffee, instant breakfast, so you're not just drinking water. It doesn't look like water, it looks like you actually have milk. And then also the granola, it's very satisfying, and it's quicker, and it's cold. on these hot mornings. So that's a little bit of a change up for us. And oh yeah, one other thing, we had some good friends who gifted us some money for beef jerky. One of the things some people wonder about, how do you get enough protein? Well, we eat protein bars. Those have 20 grams of protein each, and we usually eat 2 of those a day. So that's 40 grams just in those bars. But those bars kind of taste like soy protein, and after a while you get kind of tired of that and you want meat. I want meat. And so, but the beef jerky, I mean, a little bag of beef jerky is like 13 bucks. So that's a few of the things we're doing different, but it's going really good. We're excited we hit the 1,300 mile mark today.